we start today's show at 215-592-9494 is with the Brodes, baby, because it's a football Friday. And I believe that the Eagles can still win on Sunday, even with an inefficient passing game. Now, hear me out. It must get better. I believe it will get better. It must improve long term. But with 3-0 in mind, it is very doable to still have these woes, to still have this uncomfortable passing game, and still win, and still beat the Rams. Because that's what they do. And I'll take it a step further. They'll win if they duplicate that ugly divisional round performance last season in the playoffs. And it sure did have some moments that made you sick to your stomach. Jalen Hurts with the safety. Oh, man, running out of the back of the end zone. I didn't know what the hell that was. As a Jalen man, I was stunned and in disbelief. But that's not really going to happen again, right? I mean, come on. Saquon had over 200. Challenge Sean McVay and that staff to stop something that is so significant once it gets rolling. And I do believe that they can get this thing rolling on the ground. Jalen was up and down in that one. 15 of 20 for 128 yards, which is not sexy on the stat sheet. But I'll tell you what is sexy. If you forget, this is how he started the scoring in that game.
Block to either side. 2nd down and 4 at the Rams' 45-yard line. Hurts, this time, looks, fakes, keeps it at the 40, at the 35-30, 25-20. Jalen Hurts, touchdown! 45 yards.
Come on. So here he is, almost running the length of the field. No one ever talks about that. No one ever brings up the fact that he's basically running it to the house half the distance of the damn field to give you a monster lead to start the game. No one ever brings that up. It's just, hey, Jalen Carter saved you. Well, he did have a huge play, no doubt about it. But let's not downplay what Jalen did with his legs rushing for 70. So here's my question. Do you feel confident they can beat the Rams with an inefficient passing game? 215-592-9494. We want it to be better, and it could be better. Maybe with Witherspoon out for the Rams, there is an opportunity here, and with just the realization internally that they need to see steps, maybe it's there. I wouldn't be shocked because I know that they're better than what they put on display over the last couple of weeks in the passing game. I know to my core it's better. But if they continue to have this sloppiness, it's not the end-all, be-all. They manage to still figure it out, even if it's scrappy. Now, I want to walk you through some of these moments just for a refresher. Because the divisional round, we think of the NFC Championship game. We think of, obviously, the Super Bowl and pantsing Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid. It was the snow game. We remember Saquon smashing his hand on his helmet and all. But there was more in that game. I mentioned the Jalen Carter play. This is how you were able to secure the victory.
3rd down and 3. Empty backfield. You can bet the Eagles are coming right here. Stafford in the gun. 3 receivers to the far side. Here they come. He's back. He looks. He is hit. They've got him. There's sack number 1, Jalen Carter.
And the reason why I think that is super important to bring up for the formula that I mentioned that could beat Sean McVay and this Matthew Stafford-led squad is that was the defense needing a moment. You needed someone to step up in a large spot. Well, let's reflect a little bit on who they've been in the early stages of this season. Zach Bond made the moment against the Dallas Cowboys with Miles Sanders. And then, obviously, some help to force the fumble right after that. But Zach Bond chasing down Miles Sanders, boom. Then forcing the fumble as a defense, boom. They were able to get 2 massive plays and create 2 massive moments as a defense. Against Kansas City, Travis Kelce bobbles it. Andrew Makuba makes the moment. So the formula in the divisional round, running the ball, and there was a lot of snow. And that played a role and that impacted things. But my point is, there is a way to take this team down. Even if you don't have Jalen throwing for 280, throwing for 270, throwing for 260. Do you feel confident they can still beat the Rams with an inefficient passing game? Because I do. 215-592-9494. I do a lot. And it's not what I expect for the whole year. I'm talking just for this week, just for this 1 o'clock game that's on Sunday. It's interesting because it's been keeping me up at night a little bit on some of the issues. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to pretend it's a nothing burger. There's legs to it. All the talk about why it looks a certain way and X, Y, and Z. There's layers to this for sure. But I have so much faith and belief in this squad. It's not even funny. You know, a question I constantly get is it sustainable? Guys, it's year 5 of Jalen Hurts, is it not? Off the top of my head, right? Give or take. At what point is this sustainable? That question thrown in the trash because it's just clearly sustainable. It's weird. It's unique. It's different. It's rare. Nobody else can duplicate it. It's bizarre. Any word you want to use to define it, I fully support it. It is wacky. That's why when I was fighting with Spike during the afternoon show, one of their breaks in the hallway there, one of my last statements before they came back on the air was, it's so wacky. I don't know what else to say. It's insane. But at some point, it's not a 4-game sample size. This is years and years and years and years of winning this way. And if the passing game doesn't resemble what Josh Allen does, that's okay. I've already seen this team put a formula together to beat the Rams, and I think they could do it again if their passing game doesn't click the way we want them to. We are going to get to the phones here in 1 second, but I do want to keep the vibes high. And there is something that I think is very, very, very important to listen to when it comes to the game against the Rams in the postseason. Saquon rushed for over 200 yards. My man had 2 tutties. Let's take a listen to Merrill. Here is the first one.
In the gun, Hurts gives off to Barkley. He's got a first down and more. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown! Saquon Barkley!
He did it
62
again.
yards.
He did it again, Mel Reese.
He's unbelievable. He really is. I mean, it's nonstop. And I know some of these teams, as of late, were able to swallow him up a little bit towards the line of scrimmage. Although I think this last game against the Chiefs, he did a good job grinding through and getting some extra yards. And, you know, he earned it for sure, but it's not what we're used to seeing. It's coming. It's coming. I don't think he's worn down from 2K yards. I think he's warming up. Big difference. But that was one of the touchdowns. Here's the other.
Hurts in the gun. On first down, he goes to Barkley. He breaks a tackle. He's on his way.
Uh-oh.
Here he goes. He's at the 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Saquon Barkley, 78 yards. That'll lock it up.
Boy, he is a special football player.
And that special football player still here. And it's going to be another victory. I feel very confident saying that. But there is a formula. No interceptions, which Jalen is not turning the football over. He did not throw an interception in that game. Pound the run game. Jalen, 44-yard touchdown. 44 yards. 70 yards total. It's a big deal to do damage with your legs, especially when Saquon is married to that as well, with over 200 himself, and your defense needing a moment, getting a moment. That's all they've done so far this year, is when needed, they were there. The formula's right here. They can duplicate something very similar to that horrendous-looking divisional round game in the passing game. It's available for you. And knowing all they do is win, I think there's absolutely a chance they get this thing done. And if it's a very similar fashion, so be it. I'm all here for it, and I co-sign. 215-592-9494. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Aiden in Delaware. What's going on, Aiden?
What's up, Brodes?
What's going on?
Not much. I remember you earlier talking about can the Eagles beat this Rams team with an inefficient passing game?
Yes.
And I'm a big Jalen guy. I'm a big Birds guy. Obviously, I'm calling this show, but I don't think we can if we have an inefficient passing game against the Rams. And can I tell you why?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the only thing harder to do than beat the same team twice in a year is beat them 3 times. I know it's not the same season, calendar year with the Rams and all, but I think that only a dumb man would let Saquon Barkley run for 200 yards 3 times in a row.
Only a dumb man. Well, all right. Well, Aiden, here's my stance on that is I would imagine that, not that I have to imagine this, I know for damn sure, but when they faced the Commanders, their number one statement was, we can't let Saquon beat us, right? And they're not dumb, but the first play, he takes it 60 yards to the house and he gets a big-time touchdown, and that was the first time the Eagles touched the ball. As much as the Rams will at least attempt to not allow for Saquon to beat them, when you're a special talent, you beat that anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I don't know if it's I don't think it's fair to say the blueprint's out, but I mean, you look at a bunch of teams did it last year trying to stop the sack box against Saquon. Didn't really turn out too well, but I think the tape is out on. I got to take that back a little bit. That there's a blueprint for how to stop Saquon, and it's more than just stop the box. Spags kind of showed us that in the Super Bowl. And then we haven't really seen too much efficiency from the first 2 weeks, but how much that's on the play calling.
Yeah, and how much of that is just rhythm? Like, for example, this offensive line, I think in week 7, week 8, they're run blocking, they're pass blocking. I think they're going to be in better flow. And maybe Landon Dickerson's injury is limiting him a little bit right now. And if that's the case, and I don't know if it's going to get better, but I just imagine that week 5, week 6, week 7, we're going to get a game where Saquon goes nuclear, and then from there it might just take off.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of saw that last year. It wasn't as explosive in the beginning of the year, and then you had a couple of those 50-yard-plus runs. But that was just my take on if we could beat the Rams with an inefficient passing game.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Aiden, and thank you so much for the call. It's a Football Friday. I'm geeked up. What are you going to do? That's how I operate. Hands in the dirt, baby, 24/7 throughout a football season, especially when you have this man as your quarterback. He's the best. I love Jalen Hurts. It's phenomenal. You know what I mean, Buzz? Come on. Come on, baby.
I wouldn't say it's the best. It's pretty good.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Amazing when the team wins.
I love it. Truth be told, I really do love it. It's phenomenal how great he is at winning and how much that, I don't want to say it irritates people. What it is it's confusing. It's confusing because it's one of one. And it's so strange. But once you come to grips with it, once you just absorb the chaos and the mayhem that is Jalen Hurts and how he effectively and efficiently wins at a gross level, it's so much nicer, Buzz. It's a better side to be on.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Would you say there's a quarterback in the league or that you've seen in your life who, I'll say in the league right now, because obviously I'm not putting him on before you freak out, on the category of like Trent Dilfer or the second Super Bowl Peyton Manning. He's not that. I'm not nowhere close.
No, that's fair.
But currently in the league, is there a quarterback who wins as much, who can get away with as much as he does? And that's not a knock on him.
That sounds like a knock.
It's a testament to the talent on the rest of the team.
Nah, see, but that's a knock.
It's not a knock. I'm not killing him for his talent.
You can't play quarterback this long. It goes back to how long we've been saying this for. I really would agree with you more if we were only strictly talking about maybe 3 or 4 games. But we are like 5 years into this obnoxious amount of winning. So as a quarterback of a football team, even with great talent around you, you can't survive this long by getting away with so much. He wins too much for that, you know? And I get it. It makes no sense. But you got to come to grips with he's a big part of this, too. He just has to be. He's the quarterback.
I'll put it this way, right? It's not like he's doing, like, not turning the ball over. There's been a lot of talk about that in particular this week. Not turning the ball over is a big deal. It changes NFL games every week. That interception to Andrew Makuba in the end zone that bounced off the hands of Travis Kelce, while not Patrick Mahomes' fault, was the biggest play of the game. That was the biggest deciding factor. And when you have two teams like that, sometimes one turnover can be the deciding factor in a game. That is true. What is also true is that, and this, again, is not a knock on Jalen Hurts, he doesn't need to take nearly as many risks as a lot of other quarterbacks do. He doesn't need to pass the ball nearly as much as other quarterbacks do. He doesn't have to pass his way back into games when he has that defense nearly as much as other teams do. So it's like it's a luxury.
But isn't that any team? Like, for example, Tom Brady won a Super Bowl that was, what, 13-9? Well, yeah,
listen, you're talking to a big, like the leader of, I think Brady winning that 7th Super Bowl with the Bucs has caused total revisionist history when we talk about the Brady Belichick thing. He had incredible defenses those first 3 years, and then again did nothing in that 4th one. And how about the interception he got on the goal line with
right.
Russell? I think Tom Brady, for as great as he is,
here we go,
was also one of the luckiest quarterbacks ever.
I love it. I love it.
No, I'm not even kidding.
I know you're not.
He had unbelievable things in his back pocket that, say, in certain years, guys like Peyton Manning did not have. And we talk about who the GOAT of that era is. It's the guy who won more.
Yeah, but when you, and I get it, you're right, the interception at the goal line.
I'm not even just talking down.
No, but that is something that takes away a Super Bowl victory, right? And, I mean, it was Marshawn Lynch one run away from totally taking away another ring. But
on the flip side of that, the Tyree catch took one away. So that stuff goes both ways.
I was just going to say, greatness follows you.
Oh,
just what it is.
Sure.
It's just what it is, and greatness follows. QB1, Jalen Hurts, 215-592-90 So, got a little sidetracked there, but we can always talk Jalen specifically. But the real question I'm asking, when you look ahead to Sunday, do you feel confident that they could beat the Rams with an inefficient passing game? Because I think they can, and the example I use is last year's divisional round, which on paper was a little ugly at times, right? A safety taken by Jalen and all that, but you pounded the run game. He had a 44-yard touchdown run with his legs. Saquon at over 200, and your defense made a play when you needed it. Jalen Carter. Well, that's all that they've done so far this year. The defense makes plays. They need to get the run game going, but I think that's organically going to happen because Saquon's still a beast. Jalen is still a beast. It just hasn't clicked yet. And I think their running game can click here, even if their passing game doesn't, as long as they don't turn it over, they pound the run game, and they get that important moment from the defense. That's the formula. It's there. All right, what to watch for is brought to you by Xfinity Mobile, the sponsor of WIP's Xfinity Mobile Lounge. The Wi-Fi is booming. Unlock faster, secure speeds at home and on the go, only from Xfinity Mobile. You got a little fight and fails tonight, baby. A little fight and fails. We got Phil's D-backs, late night West Coast action. So that's what you need to be watching tonight. Okay, let's go back to the phones. Appreciate everybody's patience. Let's go to Nick in South Philly. What's happening, Nick?
Brodes, what's going on, brother?
Not much. How are you feeling?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Juiced up for Sunday, and let me just tell you, I couldn't agree with you more. You're stealing some of my talking points, as the host, right? But, for 5 seasons now, we've watched Jalen win games this way where he doesn't need to throw for 250, 275 yards to win football games. What Jalen Hurts is an elite game manager who can beat you with his versatile running and his legs, right? That's what Jalen Hurts is as a quarterback. In my opinion, the reason that the offense is so stale is because of the offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo. And for example, right, we go back to this game in Sunday in Kansas City. I'm texting my sister nonstop. Look, they're getting out of the huddle, 10 seconds, 9 seconds. By the time the offensive linemen get where they need to be, AJ and Devontae split out wide, there's 8 seconds. How the heck is Jalen supposed to diagnose where a blitz is coming from Steve Spagnuolo in 8 seconds? Like, it's just not going to happen. Patullo needs to be quicker. He needs to have the offense in a rhythm, in a tempo, and let Jalen do what he does best, which is diagnose, get guys in the right position, and if he has to beat you with his legs, he will, because he always does.
Yeah. No, Nick, I think you're onto things here, and I agree with you that Patullo definitely isn't helping, and things are looking rough because of him, and that doesn't mean he's going to stink forever. I just think the early stages here, maybe he's easing himself into it, and organizationally they're easing him into it, and it may be hurting this offense because you can look at what Sheil Kapadia says. All these people that break down all 22 or listen to people who do it at a high level, and when your tendencies of running in this formation and passing out of this formation, imagine the shoes on the other foot, right, Nick? Imagine Vic Fangio knows the offense you're facing is going to run the football in X formation 92% of the time. He's going to eat that offense alive. And
100%.
And that's what the Eagles are doing right now, so they got to clean that part of it up.
I 100% agree with you, and I hope that some sort of creativity can come out of, the Sirianni-Patullo combo because they absolutely need it. And I'll tell you what, they're going to have to put some points on the board because I do not have faith in Adoree Jackson at all going up against these wide receivers. And from what we've seen of Ja'Cory Bennett, I know he had a flag early in the season against C.D. Lamb up in his face being physical with one of the best wide receivers in the league. I've liked what I've seen from Ja'Cory Bennett. He seems like a competitor. He seems like a dog who's in your face, who's physical at the line of scrimmage. I cannot watch 60 minutes of Adoree Jackson getting beat by these two wide receivers on Sunday.
No, that's fair. Nick, that's fair. And I appreciate your phone call. Thank you so much for the passion. I really do appreciate it. So I do believe Bennett's probably, my personal opinion, from barely watching as much as Vic Fangio has watched, right? So I agree with you. I would like the idea more of Ja'Cory Bennett started in this league. Not that Adoree Jackson hasn't played significant time in this league, because he has as a veteran. He has played. But I got to imagine that there's a reason why he's not playing. Right? Like, I believe Vic Fangio, if Ja'Cory Bennett was popping out over anybody else in that battle, that clearly no one took the job from anybody else, right? Ringo fell apart and this and that. If Ja'Cory Bennett was showing signs of life, I got to imagine, knowing how bad Adoree Jackson has been, that Vic Fangio would have already called his number more. And that's what I keep coming back to. And look, sometimes people are wrong, right? Vic Fangio hasn't batted 1,000 in his career. But it's such a hole right now defensively. It's an easy job to take. And the fact that he's not giving him that leash.
He was threatening to have DeJean do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't think Vic Fangio would be hesitant to put who he actually thinks is the best guy.
Right. And he specifically said at that time, I don't even want to do this, but I have to. So this
isn't Rob Thompson we're dealing with. It's a little bit of a different coaching style.
It's a new Rob Thompson.
Well, it is. Ever since he started not playing Castellanos and he's been freed, he's like, holy hell, I can win games doing this.
Wait, this is what happens when I take out a problem?
If I play Kepler against righties, we will win more games. This is great.
His wife is not a fan of some of my TikToks.
Rob Thompson or Cassie?
No. I don't think I've ever seen Rob Thompson's wife active on social media.
Cassie's wife, Jess, replying to your TikToks?
Not a fan. Not a fan of some of my takes.
She's active.
She is active. And speaking of phones, by the way, I just have to throw this out there. It's the first time it's happening to me in fatherhood, so I feel I need to share. During the break, I got a text from my wife, and it's a video of my 20-month-old. She's at we have a playroom off our kitchen. She's at the door screaming, "Daddy." Oh, dude. My heart melted.
Is this her first word?
No, she babbles and talks and whatnot.
But she's never said daddy?
I've never got a video of when I'm at work. Her actively calling for me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, was she listening to the show?
No. If she was 20 months old saying, "Hey, Alexa, play WIP," I'd be very impressed.
Well, I didn't know if your wife had it on. But
nah, she hates me. My wife would never listen to me.
Would never actually listen to the show?
No.
So you can say anything about your wife on the show. No one's going to hear it.
Right. I love my wife.
Yeah.
But seriously, I get the calling for daddy when he's not home at work.
You're like, how am I supposed to host the rest of the show?
I might have to drive home. Buzz, you might have to take over.
By the way, I need a ruling on, because you just something you said sparked a light bulb.
Mm-hmm.
So you said 20-month-old. At what point, and this is a genuine question, what point do you stop counting the months?
Great question. I'm learning this myself.
Okay.
I was informed once they reach 2.
All right, so once we get to 2, we're not doing a 26-month-old.
And I used to always ridicule people internally when they'd be like, "Oh, yeah, 19 months. I'm going, shut up. It's a year and...
48 months. How about he's 4?
Yeah, exactly. I'm doing math, But now I get it. See, you go to the doctors. Oh, how old?
Yeah, sure. 1 is not the same thing as 1.5 when you've had that little life.
Right.
But
anyway,
at 2, we're just doing 2?
We're doing 2 at 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Even now, I feel obligated to almost say my almost 2-year-old.
Yeah,
20 months, almost 2. You know what I'm saying?
More than halfway there.
But anyway, I just had to sprinkle that in.
I needed
as a
ruling there.
father.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no. Listen,
that's good stuff.
I'm very new to the fatherhood, so now
20 months.
I'm learning.
Is what I'm hearing.
20 months. All right, let's go to Rasheem in North Philly. Hey, Rasheem.
Hey, what's up? How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I think every football season, it's a different season. I know we like to compare what we have done in previous seasons, and I take it like a quarters of the season. This is game 2. We have a new offensive coordinator. I'm not even overly concerned about how the passing offense look because we're 2-0. It's definitely hard to win in this football league, and I understand we want to see the Eagles win in our own personal way, but the ultimate goal is to win a football game. Mm-hmm. And we love to compare. But look how the Bengals look. Look how this team and that team look. It was one Super Bowl champion last year, and that was the Philadelphia Eagles. So we're comparing ourselves to teams who are less successful than us, and I think we can't do that. So yes, I think the passing offense will get better. I'm encouraged that it will get better just because of the quarterback. You have the offensive weapons, but I also think Landon Dickerson not being 100% healthy. And the offensive line not playing to their capabilities, but it's not a concern for me because this past history, I've seen them perform to that capability. And Jalen Hurts plays a huge part in the running game, and I think that we're going to start getting back to probably Jalen Hurts running the ball on design quarterback runs to open up everything else. But for me, I'm not overly concerned as that how the offense looks. This is game 2. Last year, the Saints was 3-0. Everybody thought the Saints was going to go to the playoff to win. And what happened?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So it doesn't matter. Derek Carr was throwing the football all over the field last year for the first 4 games of the season, and everybody anointed them as being a good football team. So, and there's multiple ways you can win a football game. There's not only one way. This is why I love football. The defense can win the game. Special teams, throwing the football, running the football. So it's not one way you can win the game. And then I just don't get it. I'm born and raised in Philadelphia, but a lot of times, man, it can get frustrating hearing people be overly critical of a football team that just won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree. And listen, I do it, and I'm saying I don't do the overcritical of winning the Super Bowl thing, but I deal with, and thank you, Rasheem, I greatly appreciate it. People around me, this and that, feel a certain type of way. I'm going, this guy's Super Bowl winner. This guy's Super Bowl MVP, and I got to fight that fight every day. So I get the frustration. It's all love. It's just sports. Don't take it personally, but there's passion behind it because we care and we should care. But I'm with you when it comes to not really caring about style points, especially early in the year. I didn't believe last year the Eagles were a difference-making team, if that makes sense, until week 8 in the second half against Cincinnati. That was the first time they flashed something to me that was intriguing. Remember, we're calling for Nick Sirianni. He's fighting with fans. It was looking totally out of control, and it took until week 8, second half against Cincinnati. I already feel better about the mental makeup of this group. It's rough looking, but in regards to the mental makeup of this group and how fragile I thought last year's team was 8 weeks in compared to how not fragile I think this team is through this type of winning, I think they're also used to this now too. They're used to this weird, strange way of a win is a win, and this is how we do it, and I think they're more accustomed to it now. Everyone's waiting for A.J. Brown to blow up and to freak out and to annihilate his teammates and this and that, and I don't know if I'm there. And it's a weird spot to be because I understand why fans would think he's eventually going to crack, but I don't know. I think when I hear Saquon, when I hear AJ, when I hear Jalen, when I hear Nick, when I hear everybody speak, and I get it. It's easy to say to the media and to the fans that you're fine, you're winning, you're happy, this and that. But I really think it's a part of their fabric inside the walls at the NovaCare complex, the winning being so important and so valuable that individual statistics, I really believe they really buy into that. I do. I believe they buy into that to a level of realness, not just, you say that because
it works
you
when
have
you
to.
actually win and you pay it off. And everyone now knows what winning looks like and feels like. It's harder to get that buy-in when winning is just a concept, right? It's easier now. Here's the concern I'll give you as a pushback.
Yeah.
They won last year, in spite all, the passing game looking the way it did. There were flashes. Like you said, second half Cincinnati, that Steelers game comes to mind when Jalen goes, is that what you wanted to see? The NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, I will be the first one. You come through in a big game like that, you win MVP of the Super Bowl, I don't care what else you did. That was the biggest moment. He showed up. And that is the biggest compliment you can give to a guy whose label is being a winner. This year, and this is something we somewhat anticipated, the running game and Saquon Barkley has not looked as explosive. It's not looked bad, but he's gone for what, 60 yards and 80 yards respectively? Like, they were winning games on the backs of him last year when he's going for 200 yards versus the Rams or 150 out at SoFi, whatever it was. And that was the identity of the offense. So therefore, Jalen Hurts did not need to be great, let's say. Like, as soon as Saquon Barkley gets dialed back the way he did in the Super Bowl, eventually you're going to need Jalen to play like he did in the Super Bowl. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Doesn't he normally do that, though, when asked upon? If it is a game where you sell your soul to stop Saquon, and I do think that they're so obsessed with explosive plays and they haven't been getting them enough where they're going to find ways to figure out this explosive play issue.
So I'll give you an example. Yes, when he's called upon in the biggest moments, he does. But like last week, I thought it was a good, not great game, certainly by his standards from Saquon. I didn't think the passing game was great. I thought the defense mostly won them the game, and the Eagles' offense played mistake-free football, and it was enough. Like, that was my takeaway from the game.
Yeah, and I think that's fair, but I feel Jalen so far in his career, and I meant Jalen steps up when the lights are bright. Were you meaning Saquon?
No, I did mean Jalen.
Okay,
too.
just
I
making
got
sure we're on the
that.
same page.
Yes.
So far, Jalen Hurts in Super Bowls, I just feel...
Played great both times.
There's something about the magnitude of the moment when it get a Week 3 game, and I'm not saying
you can't get worked up over it.
Right, and I'm not saying that a Week 3 game doesn't matter because it's the next game, so it's the most important on the schedule. But there's something to be said about when it's the game and the playoffs and the moment.
Of
it's
course.
every time, though. Every time.
Of course.
Except for Tampa Bay.
But I can get preemptively worried. And also, remember what it looked like last year in September versus the rest of the year. I can still be preemptively like, if this doesn't change, if this looks this way all year, maybe they won't get back to that point. Like, maybe they are not the same dominant team that they were a year ago if Saquon's not running as dominant and the passing game doesn't lift. Like, I think that is a real... hitting the alarm, but I think it's a real concern. I think it's a real thing to take note of. I think it's a real nuanced opinion, not just, win's a win. Like, what are we getting upset about? Like, we're allowed to have takeaways and thoughts and concerns, even if the Eagles end with more points than the other team.
Totally understandable. And I agree. Big picture, I mean, it needs to improve, right? You can't be surviving with 100 passing yards. It's not good enough. But then there's the other side, which is it doesn't make sense, but it's
But they do it so consistently.
Yes, I know. And it's hard to soak that in because it's uncomfortable. But once you get comfortable with how uncomfortable it is, it's a great ride, let me tell you. 215-592-90 I wanted to get to O.G. Wade. He was coming up next. O.G. Wade, I want to hear your Jalen Hurts love. If you want to jump back in, 215-592-90 I see everybody on hold. Here's the question. Do you feel confident that they can beat the Rams with an inefficient passing game? Because I believe they can. Coming up next, your calls, Ed. One of my favorite visuals when I close my eyes and I think about this game on Sunday. I'll tell you what that is. It's Brodes with you on 94 WIP.